We've all seen the glitz and glam of beauty pageants on TV, yet today we are going to take a look at the behind the scenes at what it takes to win the title. And it's not just beauty.
The Whitney Reynolds Show is supported by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention's Out of Darkness Chicagoland Walk, whose mission is to prevent suicide through research, advocacy, prevention, and education. Volvo, designed around you. And the Respiratory Health Association, raising funds and awareness for lung disease research and programs. Special thanks to Volvo of Oak Park and Kinmare Catering.
Today we are talking beauty pageants and the science behind what it takes to truly win.
You're watching The Whitney Reynolds Show.
First up, we have Beverly Turkowski, a pageant winner herself back in 2005. She now serves as the executive director for the Illinois International Pageants. Her platform is education, and she is here today to explain how pageant life works. Welcome to the show, Beverly.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
So a lot of the time when people think of pageants, they think about beauty pageants. And really there's so much more that goes into this. Can you tell us what it looks like behind the scenes in the pageant life?
Absolutely. Great question. You're right. A lot of people look at just what they see on stage and they assume that it's just about the prettiest girl. This is the one thing that I truly love and embrace about the international system, is it's so much more than that. We incorporate not only your stage presence, but also your interview skills, your public speaking, and of course, most importantly, our community service.
So community service is something big, because that is one thing that whenever people are watching these pageants, sometimes that comes up at the end. It's not like they lead with, this is so-and-so, and here's what she stands for. So how do women actually be able to make their platform well known?
That's also one of the most important things that we do, right? You spend a lot of time working your particular platform. It's so important for them to pick something that really means something in their heart, because that really shows. So a lot of times it's a personal story, it's a message that they want to give to people, and it's all how they want to take it to the next level. It does take a lot of time, work, and dedication, and that piece is all your preparation, sometimes not for pageant, but just for life.
So with the girls, whenever they're competing, they have their platform, but usually is it whenever they become a winner that platform really comes to life, when they can really start using that impact?
No, believe it or not, a lot of these girls that come to compete in the system have worked with their platforms for years, and that's what makes it so special. It's not just something they picked up just for the pageant.
Do people ever compete in the pageants to raise awareness for their platform? Like, is it sometimes like, okay, I've always been decent looking, I think maybe I could compete in this, but this would really shine some light on something that's close to heart?
Yeah, and that's a great question as well, because that is absolutely a platform can be used in the pageant system as a door to get you in to help with your pageant, with your selected platform. I personally education was my platform when I was Mrs. Illinois, and it opened a lot of doors for me in the school system. You can't just knock on the door and say, can I come in and volunteer and help? So when you do have a title, it does help open those doors.
So you were a former Miss, and then now you are the director. Tell us, was it something that whenever you became a crown holder that you knew you wanted to continue this up?
So I spent a lot of time prior to entering the pageant really researching what pageant was going to be the pageant I wanted to spend my time with. I was scared. I wasn't sure if I should do it. And then I spent some time looking at the international system, and it was everything that I stood for. It was all about faith, all about community service, and all about your family values. So I said, I'm going to go for that one.
And just to be clear, there are different pageant systems.
There are absolutely different pageant systems. Again, I look at it like a sport. You've got your different NFL and AFL. We have different pageant systems as well that you feed into, that you compete in. Absolutely.
So with the international one, what do the girls have to do on the front end before it's not like you just show up in a bathing suit?
Right. For the Mrs. division, there's 3 areas of competition. Interview is 50%, again, putting the focus on your personal platform. Also, there is fitness wear, that's in all of the divisions, and there's evening gown, that's in all of the divisions. In the Miss and Teen division, there's also fun fashion, which is another element of their personality that they show on stage.
So there's a couple different categories with the teen, the Miss, and the Misses.
Yes.
And and then they just go on and compete from here, from Illinois, to the nationals.
So the winners that are selected in our system, our 3 reigning queens this year, will go on to compete in the international system. The international system also has a platform, a national platform. We partner with Go Red for Women, which is fantastic. Mary and Mel Richardson are the executive directors for the national system. And this year it will be in Jacksonville, Florida in July. So come on out and cheer us on.
What is Go Red?
So Go Red is the American Heart Association, so it's all about healthy heart for women. So it partners so well with our system because it is about a healthy life and, you know, taking care of yourself and, again, giving back to your communities.
How early do the girls start prepping for the pageants? Because sometimes what we see, it's like you think, okay, maybe this was, you know, they decided to do this, but some of them, like you said, train for this.
For years. There are times, and again, this system being a platform-based system, you know, some ladies say, oh, I want to do it, but I really want to work more with my platform. I know I keep referring to it as a sport, but it really is. You need to be physically ready, mentally ready, and you really need to be sure of your platform and what you are going to represent. You know, we all do volunteer work in our communities, but which one is the most important to you and which one do you want to take to the next level? You have to spend some time thinking about that. So you don't need years, but some of the girls do.
So the winners we're about to have on here today are really going to explain how
They
this
are.
kind of all played out in their real life.
Yeah, they are. I'm really excited for you to meet them.
Well, thank you for coming on.
I'm happy to be here.
It's now time for the social sizzle, and we are heating things up with a man that has done the looks from the Oscars to the runways and, of course, pageants. Let's welcome Constantine. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Whitney. So excited to be here.
So you transform these women.
I transform women in general.
So tell us about the pageant life. Like some of the girls that come in ready to do, it could be their first. How do you doll them up to give them their unique look?
So when working with any client, I start with getting to know who they are. It's really about pulling the layers back and getting to know the person. And we're not there to really change who they are, what they look like. We kind of enhance them. And I think that itself is where the transformation kind of comes alive because you actually get to see them change too, which is kind of exciting because they blossom into this new person. It's like they take on a new personality, a new character.
What is the chaos like behind the scenes the day of a pageant? Like, is it just like teasing brushes and hairspray everywhere? That's what I pictured as.
I love it. Everyone calls me the hairspray king.
Yeah.
It's a fog of mist. They hate it. I love it. I don't know how anyone can exist without hairspray. You know what? There is chaos, but I would have to say it's a fun chaos. I love that about what we do. It's always exciting. It's never terrifying or panic. It's just, oh, we're doing this now, we're doing that, let's go, this is great.
So there's been this huge push for like natural beauty, but like you were saying a minute ago, there's this way to accelerate kind of what you already have. Can you explain that for the everyday woman at home that might be looking for a way to like, okay, I'm really afraid because I've worn the same look my whole life, how to like really hone in on maybe a new look or a brighter them?
I think the most common misconception when it comes to beauty is women in general feel that because of what social media advertises, there's a certain look for beauty. There's a certain image that, you know, we have to live up to. It's not the truth. Really, it's about enhancing whatever beauty was there to begin with. So if you're someone who takes a really natural approach, okay, that's fine. You just enhance certain pieces of that. You do a little bit more or a little less based on what your day-to-day life is. I think that when you think of beauty pageants and you're talking about, you know, the stigma that comes with it, I'm excited because within the pageant realm, we are going into a new era where it's not big Texas hair and bright colors and loud, loud, loud. It is definitely more fashion forward based, more natural, more organic.
But what you're saying is it's really going in a different direction where people's personalities can even shine as well.
Absolutely. That's what I love about our system and the system that Mel and Mary Richardson with the International Family created and started is that what we do is totally different. The girls are very platform based and each contestant, each queen, they're so unique. So when we're transforming them, we don't want to take away from that. We want them to shine through. And then what I do for them is just kind of help create the look.
Just give us a snapshot of what your day looks like on pageant days.
Production days for me are 30 women in a day, hair and makeup, get them in, get them out in 15 minutes.
And is it something that, since you're working with women across the board, no one can say like, oh, my unfair, like my makeup wasn't done as, because you're doing it equally, just.
Yeah, it's hard because some women have more striking features, others don't. But I think overall I try and create that unique look for them. It's what's gonna make you look your best. I guess I don't understand when women come in, and they show you this picture of who they want to look like. It drives me crazy because I look at them and I go, well, how about we focus on who you are and how good you can look? And it's great to have an inspiration, but really, who is this person? Let's enhance them. Let's build this person up.
Any advice you'd have for our viewers out there?
Stay true to who you are when it comes to your look, and just, like I said, enhance the beauty that's already there. Don't try and change it or cover it or follow a trend. It's great to stay on trend, but don't overdo it. Stay within what works for you.
Great advice. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much, Whitney.
Next up, we have the new 2016 Mrs. Illinois, Nicole Zwerkin, that is here today to explain why her title means so much more. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, so you have on your crown. Yes. You just won. Tell us what winning was like. I mean, this is a big deal, Mrs. Illinois.
It was an extremely big deal for me. I think that I went in there prepared. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to tell my story, but winning just kind of made it that frosting on top. So I was really excited.
Was that why you competed, is because you wanted to raise your platform? And we're gonna get to your platform in just a minute. But I want people to know that, like, here you are, this shiny woman sitting on the set, beautiful, you look all put together, but was that the reason you did it, was for your platform?
I did. That is the sole reason I chose this system specifically, and the reason why I decided to do a pageant. I felt like I had a story to tell.
So let's go into the platform, because as we were working on this show, a lot of people have misconceptions with pageants.
Yes.
And it's easy to do that. Sometimes people just think, oh, it's just a beauty pageant.
Sure.
There might not be brains, there might not be platform behind that. And to be honest, whenever you're answering those questions at the end, you can be so frazzled because you're put on the spot in front of a bunch of people, and anybody could get nervous about that.
Absolutely. It's that whole fear of the unknown.
Right.
And I think one of the best things that I could say is, if you know your message and you know yourself, there is not a question you can't answer.
That's
really
good.
Something that I had to get used to, and something to get comfortable with my own thoughts to be able to do that.
And you're Mrs. Illinois, which is so unique because you're married.
Yes.
And you have a baby.
Yes.
And you're now a crown holder.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I still wake up and I can't believe it. I'm still kind of relishing in this whole new experience. And it's fun because you have to balance your time. But it's kind of the fun of it. And this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I'm just really honored.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's go into your platform.
Sure.
So yours is bullying.
Yes.
And you were actually bullied growing up.
Yeah, my platform is Be Kind, Make a Difference, and it's named after my nonprofit organization. It's dedicated to bully prevention, not only for children, but also adults, which is something that makes me unique and my experience. As a child, I was bullied, but most recently as an adult, I was bullied at my first professional job. And I think that's something that we don't really talk about a lot. And that's what I'm trying to do, is raise awareness to the fact that it can happen to anybody. Bullying does not discriminate.
It doesn't, and a lot of the time you think as you get adults, you grow up, the barriers are down, no one's gonna be mean to anyone. But in reality, a lot of the things that happen in our childhood roll over, and that mean person on the playground is still the mean person as they're adults.
They're the bosses, they're the office managers. I'm not saying not every boss is a bully. That's not what I'm trying to say. But the thing about workplace bullying that makes it unique is they have that power over you. In my case, it was an office manager. And, most of us need our jobs. It's our livelihood. It's how we provide for our families. And it's kind of, that's what they use over you as power, and it's a really difficult situation to be a part of, and embarrassing and humiliating. And I think for me, being a part of this pageant and telling my story, I wanted to show A, that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and B, we don't need to be ashamed of those types of experiences.
Because you were bullied as a kid, was that something that you were able to identify it more as an adult?
I would like to say yes. I would like to say that made me stronger and more powerful, but no, I don't think I think I was caught really off guard. I knew that I wanted the acceptance of my peers and my coworkers. I knew that I wanted to impress my boss. I knew I wanted to do a really good job. And I think that it took me some really concrete examples for me to realize, whoa, this is a situation that is beyond critiquing of my job. This is a situation where I'm personally being attacked.
Did you start the nonprofit from that and then decide to get into the pageants?
I did.
That is,
I did.
you know, a lot of people, they might go through something, but they might not just start a nonprofit.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
You know, I have to be honest, I really wanted to get involved with a bullying organization. And although Chicago has some really great ones, I found it hard to find an organization that was really active in the community. And that's something I blend with my organization. I think that we can alter the atmosphere that bullying thrives in by random acts of kindness, by being kind for one another, by volunteerism, and that's what I'm trying to promote.
Well, and the adult bullying is super interesting, and because I've, you know, something that a lot of people chalk it up to, they say, oh, they're just jealous. Oh, they're just jealous. But really, if we peel back the layers of what they might have said or how they're acting, it is a form of bullying.
Yeah, it's a form of psychological bullying, you know, and it's not so much the pushing on the playground or he said, she said, although that does kind of build up. It's more of the, you know, for me personally, I was being critiqued in a way where I was starting to second guess my own abilities, my own feelings, how I felt about things. And, you know, you start to be like, well, maybe this isn't the career for me. Gosh, I went through school. I thought I loved what I do, but maybe this isn't right. And that's where you start to get into a territory and you lose your drive to get up in the morning. You lose your want to succeed. And I think that's where it starts to get a little dangerous.
And when that happened, how did you correct your path? Because it's so easy just to like you said, not get out of bed or say, okay, maybe I'm in the wrong field. Because I'm sure all of us, even the viewers at home, we can think back to a time that we were either in school or a job.
Right.
Or maybe we are that person and we're self-evaluating saying, I am that bully to someone on accident maybe, and I don't even realize it, but evaluating where they're at.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's an important thing to bring up too. Sometimes people don't really realize that they're, you know, starting to walk that line. But I think that one of the things for me was kind of getting back to why I started, why I was there in the first place, doing some soul searching. And when I actually started talking to other people about what I was going through, that started making me feel empowered. And that started giving me, you know what, you can do this. You're an adult, you can stand up for yourself and do what's right.
That is so neat, because part of this show today is also showing a different perspective of the pageant life. And so I'm sure there's just doing this segment and talking through the bullying aspect, a lot of it starts with judgment.
Absolutely.
And that is what we wanted to highlight today. There's so much more that goes on behind this, and so much more that even goes on behind the crown. I'm so thankful that you are raising your platform and making people know about this.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here and be able to tell my story.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
It's now time for the viewer's voice, where we take a question to the streets. And this week's question is, what is the closest experience you've come to competing in a beauty pageant?
I've done some modeling in my day. A beauty pageant, not so much, but I've done, you know, castings for different modeling jobs and things of that nature. I've judged beauty pageants.
Being a woman, I guess that's kind of it. You kind of are always faced with societal standards, and you know, being a woman, it's difficult to live up to those standards on a daily basis, especially in the American culture that, you know, values beauty and physical appearances. And I think living every day as a woman is about as close as I can get to a beauty pageant as it comes. So
I was a runway model when I was like 6 years old. I mean, that's as close as it came to a beauty pageant. Yeah, I'm not one for beauty pageants at all.
Next up, we have Miss Teen Illinois International and Miss Illinois International on set to give us a real glimpse on pageant life. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have Miss Illinois and Miss Teen Illinois. Now, Jessica, you're Miss Illinois. How old are you?
I'm 20.
20, and what is it like being Miss Illinois at 20 years old?
You know, it's a lot to handle. I'm also a full-time student, and I volunteer like 20, 30 hours a week. So, I mean, going back and forth from school to home to being Miss Illinois, it's fun, but it is a lot on the plate, you know?
And then, Lindsay, you're 14.
Yes.
Did you have pageants in your dreams as a child?
Well, my mom did pageantry when she was younger, so ever since I was little, she was putting me and my sister in pageants, so it's been something that I've been doing for a long time.
So you've kind of been used to this life.
Yeah.
Wow, it is something so different that we wanted to give a different perspective for our viewers to even see that in the Miss Illinois International, it's 50% question, like what your platform is. And what is your platform? And I'm sure a lot of our viewers too are like, at 14 years old, what do you stand for?
Right. Well, my platform is the Lexi Kazian Foundation, helping children with special needs. So basically what I do with my platform is, first I advocate for them. So I hold fundraisers and I put on my own special needs pageant for children with special needs, which was so much fun. But the main goal of the Lexi Kazian Foundation is to improve the comfort and quality of lives for children with special needs. So I also go to events with the children, and we go and we watch movies together and go swimming at the YMCA. So it's just a ton of fun, and it's really important because my platform is something that I love to do, which is a big part of it.
Sometimes people might think that parents get pushy with their kids at a young age to get them into pageants, and this is going to be your life, you're going to be dolled up. But this has kind of opened your eyes to a different platform.
Definitely, and my mom wasn't really pushy with it, so I feel that it's really important for the girl to want to do pageants and not to be forced into them, because it's really important to enjoy what you're doing. So.
Do you feel like this has opened your eyes to a bigger calling at such a young age?
Yeah, it's definitely opened a lot of doors for me and let me experience a lot more than I probably ever would have at the age of 14, because I'm doing so much in my community.
That's so neat. And then Jessica, how tall are you?
I'm only 5'2", 5'2.5" on a good day.
So let's talk about the stigmas around pageants. People think, one of the first questions I have, is there a height requirement for this?
Not for the international system. For every other system, I could say yes, you need to be that size 0, 5'8" girl that looks perfect all the time. But for the international system, what I really love about it is the diversity it brings. You don't have to be 5'8", you can be 5'2" and a size 6 if you want. And if you have that community involvement and that dedication, you're going to do well in this pageant, which is what I like.
So is that one of the reasons you signed up, is because you knew you could? And that's so sad to think that other women, as they might think about pageants, would say, I can't compete because I'm not that height.
Exactly. I used to think about pageants, I was like, no thanks, no way. And when I heard about this system, I was like, okay. I have a brother who's autistic, and he used to be severely so, and throughout the years he's received a lot of therapy, a lot of dedication from my parents' time, and I've learned to advocate as well, and that's kind of what I speak about as Miss Illinois. It's the only reason I actually competed, was the fact that, through this title I could give back to those in the community.
So both of your platforms are outstanding. How did you prepare as a 14-year-old for the questions? Because that's kind of nerve-wracking, being on stage and getting asked a question.
Yeah, definitely. It's nerve-wracking, but just I think knowing my platform back and forth, forward and backwards, just knowing everything about it really helps prepare you for the question, because then you can answer anything.
That's so interesting, because even I feel like if I was prepared, I'd still stumble on my words. And that's what I think sometimes when we watch these pageants on TV, we got to extend a little grace to the people, because there it is. You have to say, was it one of your most nerve-wracking experiences, Jessica?
I love public speaking. It's like one of my favorite things to do. I think that if you raise awareness, you can make change. So, being asked questions about people on the autism spectrum, or what do you do for Autism Speaks, how do you do this, I'm ready with those answers, and it's encouraging for me, because I know that some other people are learning from it.
But was it not nerve-wracking? Let's get honest here.
I don't think it's nerve-wracking.
Really?
Not for me, at least. I don't know about Lindsay, but
I talk for a living, and I think whenever I look at those girls on the stage and they get thrown a question, I get so nervous for them. And you're right, if you know your platform back and forth, but I have to say it's something that anybody can be nervous about. And we gotta, sometimes we're so quick to judge what's happening in that one answer, but really there's so much more that goes on behind it. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's definitely a little nerve-wracking for me going up there and, not knowing what you're going to be asked in front of this whole audience. But I think once I start answering and I get comfortable on the stage in front of everyone, then all the nerves kind of go away and I'm just comfortable.
So what's in your future plans?
I'm actually applying I was reached out to by Autism Speaks to apply with them for an internship this summer. And I am currently searching which grad schools I would like to go to. My goal is to be a physician assistant.
There's so much more that goes on behind the pageants. And what about you? Are you dreaming of turning 16 and driving?
Well, yeah, definitely getting my driver's license, and I'm really looking forward to moving on to high school this year, so I'm graduating 8th grade in 2 months, so that's exciting.
It will be so much fun to watch both of your progress. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, today we've hopefully given you another look at the pageant life. Now when I think of pageants, I think of platforms and what each lady in the competition stands for. And remember, you don't need to be a crown holder to do this personally. We wanted to leave you with one last pageant competition winner, Lauren. She is 21 years old and recently competed in the Miss You Can Do It pageant. She is now going to leave you with tips to win on stage and in life.
Hi, my name is Lauren Rath, and I'm your 2015 Miss You Can Do It Queen. Now, to tell you a bit about what the pageant is, the Miss You Can Do It pageant is a pageant for girls with disabilities. Now, my tips for you to succeed in life is have fun, be yourself, and more importantly, winning's not everything.
For more information on today's show, visit whitneyreynolds.com.
The Whitney Reynolds Show is supported by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention's Out of Darkness Chicagoland Walk, whose mission is to prevent suicide through research, advocacy, prevention, and education. Volvo, designed around you. And the Respiratory Health Association, raising funds and awareness for lung disease research and programs. Special thanks to Volvo of Oak Park and Kinmare Catering.